Well, hi there. This is Progressive Alternative with Victor Monjares. I'm Victor Monjares, all decked out, ready for another Republic soccer game. I believe it's being played today in Tulsa, but anyway, in that aspect, it's March 7th, and I thought since there was no political debates except for some those results on Super Tuesday, including my state, got to put in my vote for this guy, Bernie Sanders, who I will mention much more later in the programming. But today, or at least this week, I wanted to actually have a three-parter about or at least the all-time all heroes rankings. Now I done this on Twitter a lot. I don't get a lot of traction, of course. I'm just a simple dude. I don't really have any much legitimacy about really telling what makes a true hero. So here's mine, basically my observation, to at least be the most informed, that it has to be somebody or basically some group or anything in that essence that basically saves people's lives when they're really not really expected to. So expect a lot of superheroes to be kind of lowly ranked unless they push themselves. Like when you're a superhero, you need to actually. What happens when your powers are taken away from you? Can you still be a hero in that aspect? There's especially one, or actually two people that actually don't have any powers, and then they become something more, and then they become a lot more better about being a hero as time goes on. So basically, I start off at 75. It's a top 75 rankings. I like making 75 because that's a unique number. Everyone does like top 100, top 50, top 25, top 10, and basically in that aspect. But no one's really done top 75, which of course lets me talk about at least 20 or at most. At most 25 people, as much as time will allow me to, on YouTube. So basically, I like to be a little bit more detailed. I could have made this very long too, but I want to be a little bit more detailed with basically my rankings here. And so here we go. Basically, this is my top 75. And it'll probably be like right now, this is part one from basically my 75th all the way to 50. 50. Yeah, let's make it 50 as much as I can there. That way, I get a little bit more time to explain. And, I know this might actually become a little bit controversial. Now, it's not about who's the best fighter, who's not the best person who just kicks a lot of ass, or just really has good catchphrases, or has just a moment. So, a little bit of an honorable mention, Greta Thunberg. I know a lot of my colleagues. Greta Thunberg is the climate activist who goes. She's only just kind of just made speeches. He hasn't really suffered anything, except, of course, basically being the generation that's going to deal with the worst parts of climate change. And she's basically telling everybody now, including world leaders and scenario Donald Trump, President Trump, about just him not taking this matter of climate change seriously. So could she definitely become a massive hero by becoming much more of her what she is right now is just a student, basically learning, but still telling others that necessary change is possible. Now, there's probably a lot more honorable mentions I could make, but here we go. Basically, just gonna run this through. Hopefully, I'll get a little bit more time. So, but this is basically not on top of my head. I've been doing this for a while. So, here we go. 75. Albert Mayer. I may screw up a lot of these names. A lot of these names are also Japanese, so not a lot of, I guess you could see the little bit of biases that you might see. But Albert Meyer, he's from a show, or basically from a manga called Ryoka Brave of the Six Flowers. He's basically this lone drifter who's just trying to become the next powerful, basically hero in that time. I guess they're basically set in an Aztecian time of just there's these six people that need to be selected to fight all these demons that are about to rampage upon a civilization. He wants to become that one of those six chosen by basically the gods. and then apparently he gets chosen, and then they all have to rally up, no matter who it is. Basically, they don't know who it is, and then they all meet each other, and then it turns out there's seven. All right, but who's the fake? And why is there a fake? Could that person be evil? And so he has to basically balance about, oh yeah, who is proper, who can potentially be a hero, who basically puts out a little bit of his philosophy there. I really enjoyed the American dub version about it, though the Japanese subtitle version of it basically was kind of just really felt like a Quentin Tarantino experience. So, and basically standing up for a girl that is being seen as she's the evil one, she's the fourth one. But even though they barely have any evidence, and he stands up for her, and that's why basically set the mood. Number 74, Senku from Dr. Stone. This dude really has been an amazing effort to just push people who are basically in the stone world, and he has all the knowledge of the previous world once they all turned to stone, and basically like thousands of years have passed. I may be exaggerating on that one, but still people need to be confronted and just basically being encouraged to think better, be better, inspire so much moments where they discover electricity again, or whether they discover basically making a smartphone, and basically being very encouraging. Now, he's not really heroic or any of that aspect. He's a scientist. He basically thinks with logic. So he's not exactly well comforted, and he's not exactly Harlem worthy effort, unlike a certain person that will probably be number one, and I think you guys can already figure out who that is. But just really charismatic and really able to help out, basically for a logical effort. And it's like he tries to tell you that, but there is some parts where he does get emotional, and you have to kind of really outsmart him for that. It's inspiring somehow. 73. That would be Chassis Hattori. Chassis Hattori. She's from the Ancient Magnus Bride. She was the one woman that basically, after going through so many adoptions, she's finally faced with the circumstances of actually becoming a prostitute or just human trafficked. But instead, she's picked up by this one mysterious dude that apparently just has like a skull for his face, and it's like he doesn't have a human face. That's his face, basically. It's the skull, and it's like antlers. And so they go off. They go into an enchanted forest, which leads to their enchanted cabin. And basically, she has to learn to become much more better about herself, even though she's been through these horrible experiences. She uplifts a lot of woodland creatures and tries to help out the efforts to take on the evil people who want to misuse magic as in ways to wrongfully use to exploit the natural resources of the world. A lot of interesting, it's an interesting show, Ancient Magnus Bride, and apparently there was supposed to be already another season coming up, but I haven't seen any new news of it. Hopefully it does. It's really magically, or at least creatively drawn, and lovely music. 72. Arthur Curry. He's also known as Aquaman. Yes, the newly released one, this past recent one, Jason Momoa's lead basically role there. It's just really putting the attitude that, he wants to care. He didn't want to care he didn't want to care at first about protecting his home country, or at least his homeland, or basically it's in the ocean, so it would be home waters. And he has to, of course, also protect his homeland as well, because his father's all human, and like his mother's all Atlanteus, and they're still humans, so it's not like it's a bestiality issue. Let's not do that. Let's not ask why Little Mermaid's that way. No one ever asked why that happened. Anyway, And so it was just really carried out well. And really, the most memorable thing I just really remember from that movie is that in the end, he basically says that his parents' love made him into a better man. And really trying to balance out that there are people in the human world that need to be held accountable, need to be attacked. And why are they, they pollute our waters, but, there are still people that do want to help clean our waters and protect our natural resources and don't want to harm us all. And he has to take on that. Oh, he also has to take on that because his half brother is basically apparently like the ruler and trying to destroy all of that. So, yeah, you have to balance family with that. And so it turns out to a very much more, in the essence, or lack of a better word, heroic efforts to just be just quite daunting to resolve it to the best extent, in his own charismatically ironic twists as well. Number 71, Darnell Burton. Now, you may remember this guy. He was a bus driver. Yes, there are actual people in reality that can be heroes. And he was a bus driver. He drove around in Buffalo, and during one of his routines, he noticed a woman that was just like hanging by a thread, basically. She was like sitting nearby a bridge draw. So basically, she was at the edge of a bridge thinking about killing herself when he finally confronted her and basically found out about that. And he just stayed with her for about 35 minutes. He could have kept going, maybe even could have called the police, but no, he wanted to stay there, wanted to assure that there is much more to life, and don't that taking your own life is not the best way to forward, because when you die, you lose the best part of yourself. The suicide hotline number. I'm not going to try to remember what it was. It was like 1-800-273-8855. There's a song about that, apparently. I might have to look it up. Next, there would be number 70, Colin Kaepernick. Yeah, Colin Kaepernick. I know that he's a controversial figure. He's kneeling down the floor. He's kneeling down the field during the national anthem, which is actually proper because veterans basically told him it's much more better if you kneel during the national anthem than just sit down. Because originally he did do that. He originally sat down during it, that was much more disrespectful. But he talked to some veterans down in San Diego and basically learned, yeah, it's much more better if you just kneel, because veterans also kneel. We basically have that freedom to constitute our complaints, our criticism, our freedom of speech, because that's what made this country amazing at first, or at least hopefully still now. And even though our democracy is basically in danger with the Trump administration. I'm sorry about that. Of course, Trump basically pointed out, it's like, oh yeah, it's like I feel sorry for the this son of a bitch who basically has to go through this life. And it's like his mother, Colin Kaepernick's adopted mother. By the way, yeah, he was adopted too, and his adopted mother basically just tweeting back at him, well, this bitch of that son is very much proud of his son. I know I messed that up, but it's still, and obviously that's why I got this jersey of Colin Kaepernick. Just basically standing up for our rights. And I remember wearing this during the state convention when I was down in Long Beach, and people were just so. And this was during when he had that whole tryout with the NFL, and oh yeah, he wouldn't give in to their demands about, oh yeah, you have to do this, you have to do that, you can't have your own public press, you can't do this, and just like the NFL just not really giving a crap about trying to improve better lives. I know they had that whole campaign, they had that commercial in the Super Bowl, but like, hey, I wonder who finally pushed you to do that. It was him. Oh yeah, very good football player. Still keeps himself active, and he still helps out with charities. I love that ad that he had with Nike, just basically doing something crazy, and that's good. That's your passion. Pursue it. Number 69, nice. Max Costa from the movie Elysium. It was a movie from, I believe, Peter Zaxer fine. I may be I am wrong about that. But basically, he was the director of District 9, and basically, it's Chappie. But Elysium was quite a unique film about just about this whole civilization. Every Earth is basically down here, all polluted, just a mess. A lot of poor people down there. Everyone else who's rich can just be up there in the basically nearby the moon's orbit and just have all the free healthcare, live the free lifestyle. And basically, Max was basically is caught in the middle of this whole thing about how he has to help out everyone, even though he's trying to get his own form of healthcare basically approved so he can keep on living. And then in the end, oh, sweet goodness, at the end, he's like, that's just a spoiler alert. It's like he dies. He kind of like hacks himself into the mainframe after just lengthy battles against the oligarchy. And just, it kind of just goes really much in debt, and he accepts it, and it's like, and when he hacks himself, because it takes a lot of his life form, then all the ships that are supposed to heal everyone else doesn't just focus on the rich, go out to almost everyone out there with poor people, and just taking care of everyone else around the world. And ooh. My family accuses me that I get too inspired by these here, basically people who do these deeds, and it's like, and that's why they kind of didn't want me to watch 7 Pounds for a while, and it's like, man, it's like, I thought it was okay. I thought it was too dramatic. Anyway, so Max Costa, good on him. 69, nice. He really does deserve that. There was actually a girl he had to care about, and like, yeah, that would be cool to do that. Anyway, 68, Bell Carnell. He's from that. He's the main dude from Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Yes, he's an adventurer. He does these cool things where he tries to inspire people to be in this party. He finds this apparently girl who's a goddess, and he basically helps her out, basically become much more better, be inspirational. Everyone loves to make those fanfics of them just getting it on, because good. It's just the cutest thing you can ever do, and he saves other party members from near disaster, and then especially apparently like in their previous season 2, Electrical Boogaloo, basically he saves this one woman from being prostituted, and then basically being sacrificed to like unlock the ultimate element of the world and some stuff like that. The whole other aspects of the story kind of just like, yeah, it was there. It happened. I wasn't really inspired. But him making those efforts to save her was. And if you're all fans, you can all correct me if you want to make your case about, oh yeah, do you agree or disagree with that, with my rankings, basically, in that essence. It's duplicated. I hope so. I hope it's kind of just like first of its kind. Probably not. Anyway, then let's go 67. Rin Azuma. She was from Achia Cheat Magic. I can never say that one popular genre where basically people are reincarnated after passing away in their previous world into a different person. It's basically part of Buddhism too, as well, as we all know that. But yeah, she apparently was never supposed to actually be with the main lead. He'll show up later in the list to basically help him out, and she basically tries to help him out as they were basically both summoned to be in another world to help out these people that needed help to take out these dark forces within their own human realm, and there's other creatures in there as well. But yeah, she's quite significant in her efforts to really put herself out there that no, I may have come here by mistake, but I do have my own place, and I basically want to compete against these other ladies that are trying to get my childhood boyfriend or childhood friend. And this show is kind of just off there, though the American dubcast really has a lot of fun with it, and I commend them for that, especially Christina Lee Morris. She played another role anyway. And so, but yeah, I did enjoy that. And Rin really gets herself really adequate with this. 66, Mikazuki August, or August. No one ever mentions his last name in the show. Mobile Suit Gundam, Iron Blooded Orphans. Yeah, so basically he was always just this one dude that was just known. I'm just going to do exactly what Theodore, I forgot the lead dude's name already, but it's just this emotionally, politically driven show about these orphans that are forced to work in this landmine field. It was like basically human slavery. Closest thing to it is like, oh yeah, they're in Mars, so they don't have to exactly obey those rules, and they're basically being forced to do all this work. And then they finally, basically a self-proclaimed princess, or but recognized by the government, a princess, comes to visit them. They stage a revolt. They don't kidnap her. They actually want to help her get her back home, because apparently when they do their revolt, their like enemy forces are trying to attack them all and try to kill the princess, because she's one for the revolution, or one to help out the people, while the oligarchs want her gone. And so Mikazuki basically just basically leads the efforts, even though he kind of just always plays second fiddle to the main leader, basically in the group, Tekkanen. I remember that name. I don't want to forget about that. The American dub class has clearly earned that. And just him just trying to be, even though he's quite focused on just destroy them, kill them, there is some heart in him where he can be human, and he saves his own ladies. He saves basically people, even though a lot of people die in the show too, like another show that I'll discuss in later parts. And just, it's a good ray of light that you see his steady voice. Kyle McCarnley voices him in the American version, and it's just like, he's fantastic, and he's also fantastic as Mop as well in the Mob Psycho 100. Fantastic. 65, Techi Nashimura. He's also from Kosuke Cheat Magician. Yeah, he's the lead guy that was also summoned to that world, and so basically he has to lead efforts to, because I'm just a teenager, I have to really get used to basically, I have all this magical powers, and I always have to really take care of what people need in order to resolve issues against these dark forces, or these otherworldly behaviors that their people are doing. It's quite a challenge for him. And basically losing someone close to him, not the Rin character, but someone else that's close to them. And he tries to bounce back and tries to say that even though he has all this magic, he knows he's still human. He has to keep his composure, and he can't lose himself to basically this world, even though they're trying to get back home as well, and trying to save these people as well. It's pretty neat. Again, the show is kind of just, it's like mostly like every other genre. 64, Natsu Dargnell from Fairy Tail. Basically, the main leader, Fairy Tail. The dude just like really has the half dragon, half human characteristics. And the whole entirety of Fairy Tail is just, now I'm a dragon. Oh, now I'm related to him. No, I actually was reincarnated by him. Oh no, it's like you have to deal with all these tips and twists and turns about this one character, but he keeps himself positive and focused on trying to save his friends and save basically the country that he's in for his guild. And just, my goodness, he is just, a lot of people really love him. Though, of course, the show's ridiculousness kind of makes me less, or at least makes it seem like less of anyone really in danger, because a bunch of people die and then they come back to life. That whole Dragon Ball Z. There's no characters from Dragon Ball Z. Sorry. Kind of seems like everything doesn't really hang in the balance there. Though there are all amazing fights, especially from the previous series. But Fairy Tail, they just wrapped up their series, although there are rumors that they're going to do something like a spin-off show. That's cool. 63, Soma Yukiniri from Food Wars. I keep forgetting that he does fight against gentrification in that, because all the new fan service and nudity and just making all that delicious food, and just really competing against everyone else. There are bullies that want to hurt others, but he just keeps pulling things out of his hat and just really making a difference with people who may have lost their love for cooking, or may have just needed an extra boost to say, yes, I can actually be independent. I don't always need Soma. Or that he's just influential and still quite a charismatic guy. Again, the whole taking on the gentrification thing, really enjoyed that. That's kind of something we're kind of dealing with at this age. Yeah. Then number 63, Miro Limon Togeda from My Hero. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch that. Jirio Red Riot Kirishima from My Hero Academia. Yes, the red-haired dude who basically turns into rock solid. He had his very good. He's got like 2 episodes about him. They were very inspirational. He used to be scared. He tried to save one of his friends, but he couldn't really move. He wanted to be stronger. Thankfully, the friends were saved. And just really being inspirational. He talks to people after the fights. Be friendly with them. And you just really let them know that they're that heroes do exist for a reason. I'll explain a little bit more about the basis of My Hero Academia. Number 61, Inu Dog from I Heal Girl. Yeah, that very comedic girl about this really apparently low IQ girl, and her amazing dog that she finds orphaned. And apparently there's this one episode where he basically he's off the leash and he goes around town, and one of those instances he makes chaotics of is that he interrupts this bank robbery and he saves this little girl from getting shot. So that's basically why he's in here. He's also a pretty awesome dog. So if you ever watch I Heal Girl, AHO dash, you gotta do the dash because there's a reason why there's a dash, girl. Really funny show, and I think it's only 12 minutes each episode too. Number 60, Atushi Nakamjira, Buno Spray Dogs. Yeah, the dude it's basically this one dude that never really knew he had this power of turning into a lion and just has casting these spells. Again, there are better fans that could better explain this. I watched this and I was kind of, okay, it happens. Though the music was pretty splendid. And all the costume design, my goodness, that's very cool. But yes, Atushui, yeah, just really is, when they get closer to the perp, he tries to reason with them. He tries to help them out. But, because he understands where they're coming from, because he was an orphan. He was basically almost left for dead. And basically having this newfound sense of life there. And Atushimi, if you ever give it a good run, especially the American dub, really giving it best respects to their characters, basically, whoever does them. Number 59, Robert McCall from The Equalizer. Yes, that's a live action first from a movie, basically. No, I said about. I say this when I forgot about Max Costa already, but yeah, Robert McCall basically was a CIA agent, or basically something with with the State Department, and he's like so good at his assassination. Basically times everything. He looks at his watch, sees how much time he needs to execute a specific plan, and the things that he does it for the community when he's finally retired. He goes around, he lives in communities, helps them out, just does the simple things. But when there's like gangsters, when there's people that are doing wrong, the biggest boost was that he basically got revenge for this one woman that was basically raped, and he goes up to them and he's just like, oh yeah, usually this is the part when I offer you guys any sense of forgiveness or regret, and it's like, but he just says, I'm just going to skip over that, because he knew the evidence and he saw that, but he knew basically, unfortunately, in this Me Too movement, it was like, yeah, women are not going to be listened to seriously. So he's just going to go kick some ass right now at this moment. Even though he was a ride-sharing driver in the second one. Yes, there are 2 movies, The Equalizer 1 and 2, Electrical Boogaloo. Really like saying that. 58. Actually, yeah, 58. Luffy from One Piece. Yeah, he's quite charismatic, quite enigma, very inspirational to his friends. And as they're looking for the One Piece, the treasure chest, it's long ass show. Oh God, it's a long ass show. It's still going, though they have said something about like next year might be the end of it, and every woman's basically all. And by that time, every woman's gonna have big chests, even the children are, because that's how ridiculous the show is now. But Luffy, back to him. Yes, being inspirational, never really giving up, has the elastic arms, basically, and arms and legs, and just eating a lot and just giving you a good smile. And really give him a lot of credit for just sticking around this long, too. Uh, Now to number 57, Thou, I would say, Miro Limon Togata from My Hero Academia. He's the one hero that apparently can go through like walls and floors, and he has these big moments against this one main villain by the name of Overhaul. And basically, he wanted to always be a hero. He always wanted to take on the circumstances that he has. That one phase. If you guys ever played the Fallout games, and there's always that logo of that one simple person with the blonde hair. It's like that's basically what he has that face of, and it's like he's like having the cape. It's like he uses the cape when we all know from the Incredibles, from that fashion guru. It's like no capes. It's like they are dangerous. I was like, but he uses the cape for this one mission for the girl and comforts her, and capes are for to comfort others. It's like that's quite a slap there. And so it's just pretty amazing. Can't wait to see what more from him, and good smile. Number 56, Kayota Anijukur Ayanara Kojiro from Classroom of the Elite. Apparently, the basis of this story is that the students go to the school and they have to learn about, how to spend your money wisely. And you earn money by making better grades. You're already awarded this in the beginning, but you have to wait for a month for this. It's like you have to be very smart about this, and it's like very diabolical. And it's the setting, and then this Kayotokoa character is just very well splendid. Even though he has no emotions, he tries to just be cool about everything. But including this one scene where this one, apparently one of his students, or at least one of his colleagues, kind of like has like a double life of being like a pop idol or catfish, and one of her fans somehow made it through past the security system and almost raped her, or actually almost molested her, was able to help her out. Although later on it does actually, I don't know if I'm talking about the same girl, because there's apparently like another girl who has like two personalities. She's always showing off her happy side, and then like whenever he's alone, that girl always kind of threatens him and just be mean to her. It's like, if you ever tell anyone, I'm gonna accuse you of rape. And that's kind of like it was kind of like this diabolical House of Cards charade, though he never talks to the camera too. That's kind of unfortunate. And so it basically, it was a pretty interesting show. Unfortunately, the last 4 episodes, they did drag, and I kind of didn't like that. So 55, Sarioto Fujimana. He was from Erase. He's the lead character. He basically has the ability to basically go back in time, about like 20 seconds. And then finally one day he finds out he can go all the way back to when he was like 8 years old. Somewhere around that age, and he wants to save this one girl who passed away in the original timeline, and he tries to save her because he's trying to figure out, okay, did she die, or how did she get kidnapped? And down the line it goes. It's like, oh my goodness, it's filled with a lot of emotions, because the girl was abused by her mother, or basically just not well taken care of, and him leading the efforts to make sure no one was left out, because if someone was left out in that school, most likely they were going to get killed or kidnapped and then killed. And my goodness, Satoru really earns that. And it's like going back in time is quite a good ability to have sometimes when you regret something. Number 54, Theo Corona. Corona. Not that Corona. It's Corona. From Record of Grand Crest War. He basically, this one aspiring knight meets this one low-level witch. They form a pawn after like a little bit of a fight, and they have to take on these dark forces that want to take over their small empire, basically, and just tries to make himself as a legitimate leader and tries to help everyone else lift themselves from poverty and be charismatic and be encouraging to others. Basically, and then like somewhere down the end, they apparently have to take down these natural or these forces that apparently don't want them to basically tip the balance scales, the balance of power scales, because something horrible will happen, and he basically stays reassured. But if we stay on this path, it's just going to hurt more people that don't deserve that. He's also voiced by Brendan Whitaker. He plays Yu-Gi-Oh! In Sword Art Online, and it's like that's something I'm going to throw there because he will appear very much later on this list. Number 53, Irma Suzuki. Yeah, welcome to Demon School, Irma-kun, because that apparently needs to be said. So, it's about this kid who basically gets sold off from his basically his parents, and sold off to this demon, basically, who's apparently always wanted to have a grandson. And he basically enjoys this kind of like very good lifestyle of just having all the food he can and having amazing friends and having people who really do actually care about him in a very good nurturing environment. The problem is that he's human and he's going to a demon school, and demons want to eat humans. That's what he has to balance with. And like throughout, he has to be this innocent dude that cannot refuse offers from people who need his help. But he still, even though he doesn't want to feel like he wants to do it, he still does it, and does it with a positive attitude. And it's a very good, almost family-friendly show. So just something to think about for your family-friendly selections. Number 52, Shin Walford, wise man's grandchild. A dude used to actually be like a computer programmer. He basically gets hit by a car, basically reincarnates as this young teenager that apparently was struggling beforehand, adopted by basically Marlin, their version of Marlin, and apparently he's married too to some very amazing looking grandmother, woman basically his age, that they're basically both elderly of that age, and it's like, that's impressive. Shin basically really just extends himself and just tries to learn about the culture, learns about everything. He still has memories of his original life, and so he basically tries to really be adequate about his surroundings and, lift others around him, teach them things, like certain people that will appear later on this list. And I really enjoyed that show. I really enjoy Wise Man's Grandchild. Give it a great look. I especially the romance stuff. It's just pretty uplifting, and how they come to terms on that. So it's wonderful. Number 51, to cap this off. Let's cap it off here. Ramu Teplis. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. A dude who used to be like a tax attorney, and apparently like in the first episode we actually like really spent a lot of time seeing him as his human self. He's not like killed in the first 5 minutes, and like it's a good amount of time. It's like, and he tells the dude when he gets stabbed and he's about to die, it's like, oh dude, please go into my go to my house, get my computer, want you to destroy it, delete everything that's in it. And then he basically gets reincarnated. Someone basically asks him, "Oh yeah, what do you want to be reincarnated?" So I was like, "Okay, what am I looking at my options?" So like, I don't think I really deserve much. So he wants to be a slime because he can basically be flexible and do a lot of things that not a lot of beings can be. Basically being flexible, being articulating, eating basically almost anything at all for him to be stronger or to take on these enemies much more with creativity. It's very clever. He raises the cities and he builds connections between different creatures, and it's just a very daring darling of a show, and Ramanu just really encourages people because he basically becomes into a certain person that just one punches his way out of at the situations, but then he starts to encourage others. Okay, I want you to also get stronger, and he wants to also help these students because he's been helped on by others that helped him along the way to get used to that world. And so yeah, those are your top, at least from the top 75 to 51. That is part one. Part two, Electrical Boogaloo, will be uploaded later on. Gotta get into that. Well, until next time, this has been Progressive Alternative with Victor Monjaras. I'm Victor Monjaras, and you have a wonderful way of living. I know I would nail that.